Gaius Julius Caesar de Bello, Episode 11. Sic vocibus consulis ter ordre praesentis exercitus, minis amicordrum Pompei plerique compulsi inviti, et coacti Scipionis sententiam secuntur, uti ante certam diem Caesar exercitum demittat, si non faciat eum adversus ordinem publicam facturdrum videri. So then, by the expressions or the voices, the words of the consul, by the fear of an army that was right there, by the threats of the friends of Pompey, most of the folks, plerique, people generally, and these would be the senatores, that's the noun implicit, most of the senators were compelled, compulsi, unwittingly, and they were forced, Scipio's position, Scipionis sententiam, to follow, secuntur. So let's deal with this portion before we go on to the rest of the sentence. The subject here is plerique, which I have identified already as referring to the senators and being masculine plural nominative. It has three modifiers, compulsi, inviti, and coacti, which are all the same gender, number, and case. So most of the folks, most of the senators, plerique, because they were forced unwillingly, inviti, and compelled, coacti. Now what forced and compelled them? Well, there are three things. First of all, the vocibus, secondly, the ter ordre, and third, the minis. So the vocibus, this is a feminine plural ablative, and it is the expressions or the statements. Whose? The statements of the consul. Then secondly, ter ordre, which is feminine masculine, singular, and ablative. It's a third declension noun. By the fear, the frightening actions of the army that was right there. Here's the next genitive, praesentis exercitus, and exercitus is a fourth declension noun. This is a masculine singular genitive. And by fear of the army that was present. And third, minis. These would be the threats, and this is also a feminine plural ablative. Each one of these is an ablative of instrument. So compelled and forced unwillingly by these three things, the third one being the threats of the allies, amicordrum, masculine plural genitive, the threats of the allies of Pompei. So here's a masculine singular genitive, which says that, explains to us that it's the threats of Pompey's allies. After all of that, we then get to the object sententiam, which is a feminine singular accusative, and it has a genitive Scipionis, a masculine singular genitive of possession. So generally, or the majority of the senators follow secuntur, historical present, Scipio's opinion. They follow Scipio's position. Why? Because they were unwillingly, inviti, forced and compelled, compulsi et coacti, by these three things, vocibus, ter ordre, and minis. Now we go on to the second part. And what we have here is an object-noun clause, uti demittat. Uti here is an alternative spelling for the more familiar ut, and it's implicit in the sententiam. So what was Scipio's position? What was his statement? It was this, that Caesar, before a certain day, before a fixed day, so by a particular deadline, Caesar should disassemble, should dismiss or disband his army, exercitum. So demittat is from the third declension verb dimitto, dimittere, like so. Its object is exercitum in the masculine singular and accusative. It's subjunctive because it's a usive noun clause. This is what he said should be done, that Caesar must disband, send away, dismiss his army before a fixed day, before a particular day, or by an actual deadline. And this portion is added to the next part, which is a conditional, si non faciat. If he doesn't do that, si non faciat, if he should not do it, and faciat is a present subjunctive, so this resembles a future less vivid, the protasis or the if clause of a future less vivid conditional. If he should not do that, this is the consequence, that he, meaning Caesar, would seem, videri, to be acting, facturum esse is implicit, it's a future active infinitive, that he would seem to be acting contrary, adversus rem publicam, against the interests of the republic. So this is an indirect statement. This portion is orderatio obliqua because it is being reported indirectly what was the content of Scipio's position. If you enjoyed that little video lesson, please go ahead and subscribe for us, click the bell and so forth. Check out the other videos on this page, leave a comment, and please be sure to check out our Patreon page as well.